Morning. How's everyone doing this morning? I am working on RPG Reactor and Starship Freelancers, some more. Oh, hey, Peru, what's up? How you doing this morning? Or this evening for you? Yep. I put the version at... Yeah, I figured. Yeah, for me it's really early in the morning. Oh, I think I want to grab this one too. I think I want to add that one too. Because I like to use RPG. I like to use my game engine as my MP3 player. Like, I probably won't end up using some of these tracks in my game, but sometimes music's good to listen to while you're working on it. Okay. Let's see here. Oh. That's what I was going to do. I was going to get RPG Reactor open. Oh yeah, and I think that my splash screen is really nice. Like, that looks cool. So I think I'm going to make the demo project for RPG Reactor like some kind of like really, really short, but like some kind of short tale where like some like warrior like goes into a cave or something and then finds a reactor like this and doesn't know what to do and shit like that. Okay, so let's go down to the relic engine. Oh, gotta do it there too. I'm playing it kind of safe and using the because I made a copy of my game and put it in as the demo as a template file in the engine, so that if I break something, it doesn't break my game. Because it hasn't been that bad, but like there's the potential to like break your game when like, you know, like if it makes a mistake when it's saving the JSON file or something like that, which I'm surprised it hasn't done more of. Oh yeah. Okay. Let us take a look. I mean, I've even seen improvements since the last stream. But there's a couple things we got to get added in here. We got to get like battle backs and because in RPG Maker this section has the ability to show like a background or something. So let me open up Claude. Okay. Understand the project a little. Working on RPG Reactor, take a look at your memory and the README. Explore the code base before we begin work. And so just so you guys know, the code base of Reactor is, I actually made it in the same framework as the gameplay mode of RPG Maker. So the gameplay mode of RPG Maker uses NWJS, which is basically like a version of the Chrome browser that runs on your locally on your PC instead of on a website, and then bundled with JavaScript to run things and CSS for styling. So it's essentially a web app, but if you look at the source, it's pretty much all JavaScript. So pretty easy to get it to work on all the different, because the advantage of a web app is that it can run on all operating systems. So I'm running Linux, but it'll run totally on Windows or Mac or potentially web, but I don't really know if I want to make a web version of this engine. But what I did was I basically had it reverse engineer the engine of RPG Maker by having it look at the core script, which the core script is when you're running an RPG Maker project and you see the JavaScript folder where it shows RPG RMZZ such and such. Let me show you. This stuff, the RMZZ windows, RMZZ sprites, RMZZ scenes. These run while you're in gameplay mode, right? So within all of these is the core script functions, which the functions are everything in the game, when you're in the game, and it's this part where you can have all these commands and stuff. Those are all in the core script as far as how they work in gameplay mode, but they weren't. The actual engine hasn't ever been available to that part is kind of hidden. So that's where RPG Reactor comes in. Because I make it 100% backwards compatible with RPG Maker as far as the core script and the engine. And then once we get it to be 100%, then we start changing stuff and adding stuff that wasn't there before. And while I'm at it, I'm making improvements. So one of those improvements was the 3D controls for the 3D animations. So being able to intuitively see how the animation gets changed by rotating this globe. Whereas before, you'd just have to slam the numbers in here to find out. Okay. Yeah, let's bump the version to 0.7. let's go to animations in the database. Okay, first let me open RPG Maker to see, like, because I don't know whether it allowed for 2 battle backs or not, or what that looked like. So let me double check. Make it more, let's see here, animations. Don't know why there's 2 of them. One second. Oh, that's right. It only has it on the effect seer ones. Oh, and this is the RPG Maker MV version, because that was the last one that I opened up. Okay. I could make a card. There in Freelancers, Joel Eagle did make a card game that was basically that would basically use the normal battle system. But I think that we would want to go with something more custom if we were to make our own card game. For me, the card thing has always been kind of tough because I don't play a lot of cards, so it's kind of like me thinking of a good card game to add that would actually be fun is like kind of hard for me. But it is something that I did want to add. You know, like, you know, some mini games and stuff, you know, that. And then I like the idea that Joel Eagle came up with where the cards come from different time periods, so they'll give like insights of like possible futures and stuff, like because you know how there's time travel stuff in Starship. So like maybe there's a card that comes from like a dead timeline or something. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Yeah, so, let's see. Okay, I get it now. Okay, let's go to animations in the database. We should keep the same viewport for the animation we have now, but we should allow for showing a battle back as well as dummy target to show the animation would look like. Let's see if it'll do it. Let's see if it'll pull it off. know what that display type is. I don't know what this is. And then it says normal. Let's see. Now I'm going to have to close it and open it back up again. What do you mean WPM? Oh, word per minute? Yeah, like probably like 90 or 100 or something. I can type pretty fast. And then I have a mechanical keyboard, so it sounds really clickety-clackety. It's doing that. Yeah, I might be able to type faster than I can talk. But I think I can talk a little faster than I can type, but it's close. Quantum overdrive. I need to make it so that it stops the MP3 player during a playtest. Oh, that's right, the volume. Oh, there was the battle. And I like how the search is like a lot faster in this one versus RPG Maker. Oh, there's a problem there too. I can select something on the map, but then it jumps to the top after each selection. I gotta fix that. Okay. Now, what's interesting about this one is I don't see the battle back or the parallax. Oh, but maybe the option to show it in the engine isn't there. No, it is there, and showing none. Oh. Interesting. Oh, I did the whole thing as a fog. Okay, let's see here. I'm getting back into the groove of things. Wait, what do you mean only my voice is audible? Or you don't hear any music? Because the music is playing. And it's showing volume. What about now? You should hear music right now. But, I mean, I did have it down kind of low, but, and then this is probably too loud, but you should hear music right now. Oh, okay. The audio volume thing is always kind of weird because some people, it's like if I play the music too loud, they can't hear me, and it's like some people are wearing headphones, or some people are just listening to it like with normal speakers, and it's like everybody can feel a different volume level. Okay. Yeah, the big chunker talk. We gotta get rid of that. Oh, these are the rotation bits. I'm a little bit rusty. It's like not doing this for a year. It's like my brain is really frazzled, but I'm getting there. I'm getting back into the groove of things. Yeah, the phrase that he says where there's a big chunker incoming. Yeah, okay, here we go. Okay, it wants to add instant state constructor. Okay. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Implement the plan, Claude. Okay. Wipe your memory and then implement the plan. Uh-oh. Yeah. Because it's got a context window limit, so when the file is too big, it has to read it in chunks. It'll read it in like 2 or 3 chunks before acting on it. Okay, let me look at this really quick and compare it to RPG Maker. Because I just want to see what the plugin commands look like. There we go. Okay. It's event 9. Oh, it's in there just like that. I see. Okay, I'll fix that. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, now I noticed something here. This adding and removing actors works, but it doesn't say the name of the actor. So we should get that to work. Let's see. Okay. Now the menu is cut off at the top there. Everything is running really smooth though. Like, it doesn't have the jitter that the old tactical system had. Yeah, the problem is my cursor is kind of interfering. There's still some little rough edges to fix. That projectile was facing wrong for that enemy. And when I last worked on the tactical battle system was like, I want to say it's been a while now. It's been like 8 months or something. So I bet the tools are going to be able to refine this pretty quickly. Okay. proton cutting beam. Sounds intense. Okay, let's see. I'm going to get this battle finished before I... because I'm trying to get to the next part of the game. But we have plenty of tests to fix this up a little bit. I mean, it works. The battle system, the tactical battle system totally works. There's a few little rough edges, but it already works better than LETBS did. That's interesting. Null reading pages. Okay, let's see if it can figure this out. I'm gonna have to play that battle over again. Okay, let's see. Victory. Oh, wait a minute. Did event? Oh, did event 11 go missing? Yeah, somehow event 11 went missing. Okay, what map is this? Map 234. Starshift, Freelancers, data, map 234. It's right there. Complex template data. give that another try because the file, the event literally went missing. So maybe I think I accidentally deleted it or something. So it might be fine. Okay. Oh, it's a bug. It made the whole event disappear when I deleted that one message. Okay, so basically it makes sense to, as I was saying, to run it in its own folder so that like it doesn't doesn't accidentally do stuff like delete events. Well, let's see how it did on the data. Let's see how it did on the animations thing. Okay. Great. Yeah, that works. Okay, so let's see if it works with the effects here. Animations. Great. Small little feature, but it did it. Let's see. Okay. So it solved the battle back issue for the animations. Now we're fixing the issues related to the events disappearing on the map when I delete a message. This looks like it's gonna compact soon. Yeah, go for it. Right now it's basically searching for a pattern or something. Okay. Okay, well, what if I add something? Okay. Oh, yeah. It deleted it from the map right there. Oh, that's the bug. That's the bug. The bug is that if I right click on the message within and hit the delete key, the event is still active on the map, and the delete key deletes it from the map, even though it also deletes it from the inside of the event. Inside the but that's the bug. If I right click and hit delete here, it's all good, but if I just hit the delete key on my keyboard, it deletes it from it's interacting with the map. Okay. Let's see what it does here. Okay. Well, that's good. It's good that I know what the bug is now, though. So it's nothing major. It's actually a really small bug. But don't want people accidentally deleting their their events. Okay. I'm on Linux. I'm on Cache OS. You can see the interface is not Windows. And it runs better. I like how it runs better. There's some things I don't like about Linux, but what I like about it, though, is it just gets out of your way. Like, once you set it up the way you like it, it's not like it's not trying to advertise to you. It's not pushing Microsoft's products that you don't want. And then you can update when you want to update. There's not It's not like daily updates just interrupting you in the middle of what you're doing. Yes, it runs almost every game just the same as Windows without a problem. The only issue, though, are the really big AAA titles that they have where they have kernel level anti-cheat. So the really big games that have anti-cheat that is kernel level, meaning it runs underneath the operating system. Those are the only games that won't work. They'll load, but you won't be able to get into a game because it won't. The anti-cheat will detect that something isn't right because it's all built only for Windows. So maybe there will be a way around that later, but and not all Linuxes are as fast. Like so CachyOS is the one I'm using right now, and that's Arch based, and it's a little bit more bleeding edge, meaning like newer drivers and kernel and all that. But a little bit, it's cutting edge, but something could go wrong if I update it at the wrong time or something. Whereas you have different distributions like Debian Linux that is like it's older, but like as far as the performance wise, it's like a little bit slower, but it's more reliable. So I would use that on something like a server. But this is what I'm using for my OS, like on my computer, my desktop. Yeah, I've been on Linux for like a year now. It was a little bit of a transition. I got Photoshop to work though. It doesn't work as well. I'm gonna replace it too, eventually. But it does work. Photoshop is one of those ones that's notoriously difficult to get it to work. Yeah. It's always been possible to do exe files in Linux with Wine. You can also use virtual machines, but I don't go the virtual machine route because it's like running a whole separate computer on your computer. But yeah, Wine runs exes. A lot of times you can just double click on them and they'll work. So like let's say that I wanted to download Notepad++. But it only works in Windows. It doesn't. There's not a Linux version of it. So, like, let's say that I wanted to run it. I use Kate on Linux, which is fine. It's just as good as Notepad++. But this is Windows only. So this is just kind of big. Okay. So let's download the installer. And then we will double click on it. And actually I'm going to use, that's the Proton launcher. So Proton tricks, and it is like when it uses Proton, which is Steam uses Proton to get games and stuff to work. It's based on Wine. Wine is the original, but you can see I'm just installing it like I would on Windows. And then it opens right up. But this is a Windows application. This isn't a Linux application. So there we go. Yep. It runs most things, not everything, but most things. Or rather, I would even say the stuff that doesn't work is stuff that you can get it to work if you do a couple steps. But some stuff just works right out of the box like that. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. And I always say please and thank you to the AI. No, but I definitely don't think that the AI is taking over. It's different than that. It's kind of just like when the web came out, like in the 90s, like the 80s and the 90s and stuff. Or the 90s, actually. 90s, early 2000s. But it's the next version. Yeah, I mean, I would advise people really start to learn how to use the tools because it's pretty damn useful. But it's different though, So you still got to know what you're doing because, like, if you just vibe code and you don't know kind of how it works under the hood, then it'll make mistakes that you won't catch and stuff. I mean, I've actually learned. I mean, I feel like I've used AI in a really good way to like really learn how things work because you can kind of play around with it without needing to know everything from the start, right? So you can kind of just jump in and then you can be like, oh, that's how that works when something breaks or whatever. So yeah, it is helpful. I think so. And again, it's still pretty new. This is, and it's funny that I'm using it in the console. It's like, yeah, like, what's funny is like the phrase history doesn't repeat but it rhymes. Like, so for example, like before, back in like the 70s and the 80s, the operating systems were like text based, right? Where you would type into a console like this and you would have to memorize all the commands and everything like that. And then now we're in an era where the console has come back somehow. But you can be like, you can just speak to it with normal language and then it figures stuff out. Like, it's just, so it's kind of weird because it feels like progress is advancing, but it also mimics what it used to be like too, in a way, just more complex. It's just kind of funny. So because we're in the early era here, where like probably eventually it won't be done in the console like this. It'll be just some kind of like, you know, program you talk to or something. But for now, I'm waiting a little bit on this because I want to see if the issues with the battle system were fixed, with the menu being clipped off and stuff. Okay. And it's so like literally right now it's messing with my tactical battle plugin. Psychronic PTBS, and it's kind of a big file. It's got like 11,000 lines of code. But still, LETBS had like, and this is just one plugin file, okay? But LETBS was like 10 plugin files, and if you added up how many lines of code it had, it was like 30,000 or 40,000. So this is actually pretty efficient in comparison. Because the goal isn't to have more lines of code, okay? Like, that's the thing. The goal is to get the thing done with as few lines of code needed as possible. Like, you know, because some programs can be a big mess where you just have, like, a lot of code and it's like spaghetti code. And I probably could split this into different plugin files, but I'd rather not. And this plugin I originally developed using Grok. This was like a year ago. But then what happened with Grok was, it was like when they were trying to get Grok out there, it like had a really big context window, and that's when I started making this. And then as they went along, it got smaller, where I would try to have Grok look at it, and it would be like, oh, this is too big. Whoa there, partner. This is too big. Whoa there. This is too big. And then I kind of stopped for a while, right? That happened to me all the time. That's what made me that's what made me not really get into programming or whatever, is stuff like that. So, and I mean, it's not like I'm like super into the code or anything. It's cool to be able to develop without having to specifically like do all this tedious coding. like the part that I've never really understood is like, how can you just like name something and then have it actually work in a program or whatever? Like, you know, like the it's just weird. Yeah, and I haven't actually used. I actually don't really use an IDE personally, or I haven't. I usually just use a really nice text editor that like highlights the syntax and stuff. But I also prefer. I also kind of prefer languages that don't need to be compiled, because I hate compiling, where you just have to like, you're like, okay, I've done my code, now let me compile this, and then it just churns and churns and churns, and then you get to find out whether it worked or not. And sometimes it can take like minutes to compile something if it's kind of a big project, which it's just really annoying. That's why I've gravitated toward web-based in a lot of ways, because I like using JavaScript and CSS, and I like using CSS for the styling, because it's pretty coherent as far as making your own styles. And then you don't have to compile it; it's interpreted, so you know you just it just instantly runs. Of course, there's overhead. There's some things you wouldn't want to make as a web app, but there's a lot of things that are great to make as a web app. And the nice thing about the web stack is that there's a lot out there. There's a lot of, you know, frameworks. There's a lot of open source plugins and stuff that just get you up and running like pretty fast if you're developing something like this. Okay, let's see. Del key event editor bug. I fixed all 3 hotkey. Yeah, great. Post battle crash. Added a null guard. All right, let's see if it I gotta close it and open it again. Oh, and by the way, this is running as a shell script right now, but I did actually get, one thing I did get working last weekend was the ability to build the package. So, like deploying your game or deploying the editor. So if I wanted to deploy this as a Windows package, as exe file, no problem. Package type, Windows, Mac, normal. So I can go to desktop. I'll put it in there. So I can build the package, and it will actually create a version that just runs on somebody's operating system. Let's see what it does. I mean, it's getting pretty good. I mean, it's getting pretty polished. There we go. Now if I go to the desktop, it creates a nice little zip archive. And then let's okay, fine. Let's run the Windows version, because this will run Windows programs. So I just built the Windows version of RPG Reactor. So let me see if it runs. Yep, we got rpgreactor.exe. And with the Windows version, it always has that weird little white thing at the top when it's not full screen. So this is what happens when you try to run NWJS in Linux when it's the Windows version. This little white bar at the top. It happens even if even if I just try to run my game with the Windows version of my game, it'll do that too. But it does work, yeah. So everything works. So no, not in full screen mode. In full screen mode, it's okay. But that's if I'm. But again, that's if I'm running the Windows version. There is a native Linux NWJS. So if I'm on Linux and I run the Linux one, everything is totally fine. But I am going to release this, but I want to make sure it's like really polished and stuff before I release it. Like I don't want people accidentally deleting events on their map and stuff if they open their project in this. Like it's got to be top notch. Like it's literally I literally have to make it work better than RPG Maker would normally work. And probably people still won't switch to it. Like I think that in the community, you're going to have a lot of people that are like, "Ew, AI, ew." I'm going to stick with the older one. And I'm not using AI in the application. I'm using AI to build an application that's non-AI. So that's the thing. Like if you built the application with AI in it, that's very expensive. But if you use the AI to build a custom tool, highly specialized tool that's not AI, that does crazy shit, then that is very efficient. Because like what I'm going to add to this program too is I'm going to add like some stuff like kind of like the stuff where you're making sprites and stuff where you can make like a sprite sheet based on inputs and stuff. But like better than the one that comes with RPG Maker. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And these plugins, they all work. Oh, this also works with MV too. So if I wanted to open up an MV project, this editor will work for that too. Just like you can use MZ to open up MV projects. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, it did fix that bug. Yeah, it'll do MV. So check this out. So let me open up Starshift Rebellion, which that's MV. Starshift Rebellion. So this is MV. And the plugins are MV. And it works. If I wanted to play it, it works. Because MV and MZ are almost exactly the same. There are differences though, and the main differences are related to Pixie. So the problem with Pixie, so what Pixie.js is it's a library of, just think of it like a library of JavaScript commands, and what they have done with each new Pixie version is they've changed how the whole library even works. So what happened was RPG Maker MV was on Pixie 4, and then RPG Maker MZ is Pixie 5, and then we're all the way up to Pixie 8 now, and Pixie 8 is way different than Pixie 5 even. So that's why, like, when, like, I feel like they basically did MZ at the wrong time, because they did it while Pixie was still changing a lot, and so it made it so that none of the stuff would be compatible with future Pixie versions. The engine, though, this engine is Pixie 8. I use Pixie 8 in this engine. So if I were to, like, maybe have, let's say, new types of plugins that were just RPG Reactor, they'd probably use Pixie 8. But I'd have to change the core script. So I'm figuring that out. But that's the problem. That's the reason why the plugins work differently and everything like that, because of the Pixie 4 versus Pixie 5 thing, and we're all the way to Pixie 8 now, which is way different than Pixie 5. So yeah, but I've been working on it. So what I kind of did, this is kind of an experiment. I don't know if it's going to work in the long run, but what I did was I made different core script files called Reactor. Instead of RMMZ, I made them Reactor. And then I figure that we change the core script, modify the core script to work with Pixie 8 instead, if there's any benefit to it. But what I did instead of that is I made a Pixie 5 to Pixie 8 bridge. And what I mean by that is I made it so that, like, the game runs on Pixie 5. Okay, and then there's a window with an invisible layer that can run Pixie 8, and then anything that is Pixie 8 related runs in that invisible layer. And I tested it with something that only works in Pixie 8, and it worked. So there's obviously more that I would have to do, but what it requires, because it's hard to explain, but the main thing is, like when you're, like, in the core script here, see how, like, right here it says something like background filter equals new pixie.filters such and such. Well, whenever you're referencing Pixie like this, that it's actually referencing a command that's in the library, okay? And then so that's why things don't work if you try Pixie 8 with RPG Maker, because this command, pixie.filters or pixie.whatever, it could be pixie. Lots of things. That actual command doesn't work the same way anymore in the newer version of the library. So basically, if you tried to run it, you'll run into, like, a crash or something like that. So what I did was I made it so that if you wanted to run, so that it runs in Pixie 5, and anything that says Pixie dot whatever, it runs in Pixie 5. But then I made it so that if you type in Pixie 8 dot whatever, then it'll run the Pixie 8 version of it. And then I included both library files. So that's how I got around it. I might be oversimplifying it, but that's what I came up with, and it worked. When I ran Pixie 8 commands in game and stuff, it totally worked. But I had to put the 8 next to Pixie. Normally you would just say Pixie dot whatever, but I differentiated between them by making one where it's like where the command itself is called Pixie 8 rather than Pixie. So yeah. But it does get a little messy when you have two different versions of a library. So, let's see. Yeah, okay, so let's go back to our project. See if we can get through the battle this time. RPG Reactor template complex. Let's see if it made a difference. Okay, let me make a copy of the same thing, and then try deleting it, and then see if the error went away. Yep, it doesn't delete the event anymore. Great. Okay. Now let's see if the crash happens. I bet the crash won't happen now. And let's see if our menu is clipped. Now, does it always start at full volume even if my options are set lower? Yeah, it does. Now, I think that has to do with one of my other plugins, which is the options, mega options. Okay. So the issue is that when I first start a game, it always plays at full volume, even if the settings indicate otherwise. So I'm guessing it needs to look at that right when starting a game. It'll probably find it. Because the thing is I know it looks like I'm doing a lot of weird little bug fixes here, but keep in mind, I replaced almost every single plugin with my own custom alternative. I still have a few like Mog plugins and stuff that I don't need to replace those because they work great. And I don't need to replace Ultra Mode 7, works great. And the stepping animation speed, I don't know, that was just a small little plugin that I've always used. And then the Galv character frames, I also works great. I don't need to make a new version of that. I did, however, make new versions of every single plugin that I used that was from the Vizu Stella stack. Because they obfuscate their code, so there's no way to actually modify or change. At least not easily. And a lot of the plugins are bloated, like there's like too much in them and they're not focused enough in some ways. And so there's a little bit of overhead. So I just felt like making my own. Yeah, Ultra Mode 7 is cool. It's kind of like 2D, 3D, but it's not RPG Maker 3D. RPG Maker 3D is like full 3D, whereas Ultra Mode 7 is more like a 3D pop-up book that's 2D. You know, so it's... I prefer Ultra Mode 7 because it's still 2D, but it is 3D kind of, but you're using 2D sprites in it, so it's kind of... And I found that the performance on it is good. Like, so the performance doesn't lag and stuff, whereas RPG Maker 3D, it is kind of laggy. Like, I can see the lag and the jitter in it. Let me see what it says. Yeah. Well, it'll probably find it, but in the meantime, we'll play and get through this battle. Okay, let's see if it fixed it. I think so. Yep, it fixed it. We'll be at the ready for our next fix. Okay, okay. The command window is still clipped. Clipped command window. Yeah, so while it's figuring that out, oh, you know, I bet I know when it happens. I bet it happens when I get close to the top of the map. Oh no, it doesn't, because when I get close to the top, whatever. It's better than it was, because it used to be clipped no matter what, and now it was only clipped in the first turn. Oh, yeah, see right there, it's clipped. But it's when it's... I think it's clipped when... yeah, what triggers it? It's like when it's near the top of the screen, but it's close to the turn order bar. And it's clipped. Yeah, it's when the menu goes close to the thingies at the top. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, I think it fixed it. Okay. It's not clipped off now. Great. Oh, did that get clipped? Yeah, it's getting better, but gradually. Yeah, it's still clipped. And I think that there's an invisible event here, and that's why it stopped and dead in its tracks. I need to check, though. me see if it actually did that. Because I'd rather get this issue fixed. Yep. Talk to you tomorrow. Yeah, I gotta fix that. I just thought of how I could improve this. Okay. augmented reality. Okay. Let's see here. But it's good. It's good that I'm trying to actually make this engine while I'm making my game, because I'm finding these little bugs, getting them all fixed. Ah, I see. Oh, the music. The music didn't switch. Let's see here. Map list scroll jump. Okay, I have an appointment I need to get to in like 20 minutes, so I'm going to end the stream here, but I will keep you all updated on the progress. And yeah, it's going smoothly. Take it easy. Have a great week.